What is technology? What can it do?
When I lost my eyesight, I thought that my painting days were over.
How far can we go?
By using your hands, you can actually control your X-ray.
Technology has the power to unite us.
Hang on, honey. Hang on.
There he is.
You see him?
I can see him.
It inspires us. Technology has taken us places we've only dreamed.
Now I can do whatever I want.
It gives hope to the hopeless.
So your device is on. Can you hear me talking?
And it has given voice to the voiceless.
Present to you the following newsreel. Medical technology, a bona fide good or a necessary evil?
Robo-cop, robo-dog, robo-doctor. All right, medical technology is getting weirder by the day, but I mean that in a good way. What about mechanical leeches? They pretty much do what medicinal leeches do, only with less chance of a bacterial infection and a lot less writhing. There's only so much improvement you can do to a tool before you eventually have to turn your attention to the hand that holds that tool, and that's where robotic surgery comes in. So do you remember the autonomous surgery pod in Ridley Scott's Prometheus? How far away are we from something like that? Well, not as far away as you might think. You see, robotic surgery and computer-assisted medicine are already doing amazing things right now, and the potential for what they could do in the future could change medicine forever. One of the most common surgical robots is the Da Vinci line. Da Vinci is focused on translating a surgeon's control movements into direct action upon a patient. So every time a human moves, the robot moves. Another advantage of robot surgeons is the chance for telesurgery. So let's assume that you're some sort of futuristic penguin research scientist and you're on assignment off the coast of Antarctica when suddenly you need an appendectomy. But your ship is completely trapped by ice and your ship's surgeon has been, I don't know, kidnapped by ice pirates or something. What do? Well, essentially, you Skype it in. A surgeon on the mainland sits down at a terminal and supervises robotically assisted telesurgery via satellite uplink. Another advantage is minimally invasive procedures. Now see, traditional open surgery can leave big scars, they can take a long time to heal, and there's a lot of pain involved in recovery. But what if instead of making a 4-inch incision in your stomach, we were able to do the same procedure using instruments put through little 1/2-inch holes? Now, human doctors have been doing minimally invasive procedures for years, but honestly, there's only so much human hands can do through these tiny holes in your skin. But robotic precision means those incisions have gotten smaller and smaller over time. And if we continue through this miniaturization rabbit hole, who knows? Maybe one day there'll be barely a notion of what an inpatient procedure is. Now, the future for robotic surgery is wide open. Just take a look at what people have created with the Raven line. This is an open source robotic surgeon and sure, it looks like a couple of mechanical spider arms, but the important thing here is research. You see, it creates a common platform for people to do experiments which will determine the future of robotic surgery. But beyond all that, instead of just talking about robotic assisted surgeries, let's talk about their full potential. We're talking autonomous robot surgeons. Okay, so with machine learning, a robot surgeon could potentially study all the information from successful procedures in the past and apply that to learn how to do those procedures in the future. And if they prove to be as good or better than human surgeons, maybe we wouldn't even go to hospitals to have surgery. Instead, if you expected to have a surgery, you might buy a robot surgeon for the home, or for the office, or for the spacecraft. Which leads me to a question for all of you out there. Let's say that you have to have a dangerous surgical procedure. Which would you choose? The best human surgeon alive today, or the best robot surgeon from 50 years in the future? Let us know what your decision is and explain.
This is a tube of custom-made DNA. I bought it on the internet for $35, and it came about 3 days after I ordered it. It was made by a machine that's a lot like an inkjet printer. My lab uses them to test these handheld DNA detectors, which could someday be used in hospitals to figure out what's infecting people who come in sick. But the same DNA could also be used to genetically modify plants or animals, It could be used to make drugs and all sorts of other things.
Another scientific development is the idea of 3D printed bone, which was first publicized in 2012. The idea is that a 3D bioprinter will develop a scaffold of bone out of polylactic acid in a gel substance called alginate, then implant the scaffold into the body to gradually disintegrate over a period of 3 months as new bone replaces the scaffold. Though this particular scientific invention is still undergoing numerous tests for potential complications, the possibility for such innovation gives proofs to former Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr.'s assertion that a mind, once stretched by a new idea, can never regain its original dimensions. As we continue our transition into the technological era, it is human creativity and imagination that will create the medical technology for the future. However, we must be sure to use what we have learned as we go forward. I'm sure we're all too familiar with the medical malpractice lawsuit commercials or the news of drug recalls being blasted across the evening news. And for the most part, we are so accustomed to these announcements that we give them no thought or tune them out entirely. However, while these poorly dramatized commercials are usually laughable, their underlying messages are not. For most of these drugs, the side effects are fairly mild: drowsiness, fatigue, and nausea. But what about the more disconcerting ones? Drug Watch reports that the prescription drug penicillin can stimulate allergic reactions that range from mild itching to severe anaphylaxis, which could result in death. Near-fatal heart attacks and strokes have been reported from patients who have taken Avandia or Actos for their type 2 diabetes. The cholesterol medication Lipitor has been found to cause muscle pain and even loss of muscle coordination in some cases. Now, while these are the extreme cases, the potential for severely damaging side effects, such as these, have been linked to common medication that one may find over the counter. Thankfully, death and physical debilitation are not the usual side effects of most medications. People commonly experience the drowsiness and nausea during the first few weeks of taking a new medication, and then completely adjust. However, that does not mean one should disregard the warning label printed on the bottle of prescription meds.
This was a clinical drug trial, a phase 1 trial. That it means it was the first time it was being tried out on humans. After animal testing, it was determined that it was ready for phase 1, ready to determine if it is safe for human consumption. And so a test involving about 128 people. And of that group, well, there is real concern about 6 people. These people are all part of the same subgroup, if you like. They were all on the same dose, taking this substance repeatedly. And the result, as you say, is that 1 person is now brain dead. 3 others could have irreparable disabilities. Another person is also unwell, and the final member of the group is being watched just in case they develop symptoms as well. Of course, this whole test has now been suspended, but there were reports in the French media. This was a French lab conducting these tests initially. There were reports in the French media that this involved a drug derived from cannabis.
As technology has advanced and science has become more precise, the potential for science to overstep its bounds has gradually become more of a concern in society. With incidents like the wonder drug thalidomide in the 1950s and 60s, which caused an estimated 10,000 babies to be born worldwide with either shortened arms and legs or none at all, in the 1982 Tylenol murders that resulted from the lacing of Tylenol extra strength with cyanide, the public at large and the FDA have been more wary of new products. The fears of science going too far or scientific creation backfiring on the creators are the source of material for literary stories and big screen films alike. And while there is evidence that supports some of these fears, there is also evidence that refutes it. In her essay, Don't Impede Medical Progress, author Virginia Postrow warns that while the creation of a cloned human embryo can be used for transplants and tests, such a creation could also be abused and lead to embryo farming for spare parts.
There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown.